Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we'll start the Sanhedrin daf Yud Daled. We're going to begin on Yud Gimel on the base, the fourth line from the bottom. So we were learning that in our Mishnah, it mentions smicha sakenim, that we require three people, which entails the requirement for smicha when it comes to a par eladavar shel tzibor on a carbon, as well as giving someone smicha so that they'll be able to administer dini kanasos. So in this Gemara it says, samach. Is it true one can't do smicha? However, we should remember this person for the good. Let's remember him for the good. Shemali, who wasn't for him, nishtachu dini kanasos miyisrael. It would be forgotten dini kanasos in Israel. So nishtachu, let's say it gets forgotten. So what? Nigrusinhu, just learn it again. Elwaz, we continue down on Aleph. Batul dini kanasos miyisrael. Says Rashi, givan deleka smicha batul. The only way that you could do kanas is dafka if there's smicha. So he was the one that was important regarding smicha. How do we see this? Anyone who does smicha will get killed. So if you're either the one who gives the smicha, the one who receives the smicha, you're going to get killed. And also any city nearby will also get destroyed. And all the bordering cities nearby will also get uprooted. So must Yehuda ben Baba. So he sat between these two mountains, says Rashi, not in the city, because he didn't want to potentially endanger anyone in that city. Ben Usha Sharafa. So he was in between these two places. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba gave smicha to 5 great people. Who did Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba give smicha to? Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Elazar, and Shmuel. Among the greatest people who ever lived. Rav Avia Moisif Af Rav Nechemia. He was Rav Nechemia also. Kivan Shekiru Oivehen Behen. Once they recognized this, Amalahen. So they said to them, this is Yehuda ben Baba, Banai, my children, Roitzu, run away. Armelo, Rabbi, Mate Alecha, how about you? Armelahen, Hareini Moitel Fanecha Ke'even, I'm like a stone, She'en La Hoivchin, that cannot be turned over, right? So basically, I'm just going to hang out here and delay them. So in the meanwhile, they'll be dealing with me, and then you'll be able to escape. Hareini moitel afnehim ke'even she'en lo hoivchen. Armelo zos misham, go from here ad shinatsu by sholosh meyos lun v'yos shel barzel, until they pierced him with 300 basically swords. V'yasuhu kikevra, and they made him like a sieve, like a sifter. Anyway, this is a kasha because we see he did it himself. So what do you mean you need 3 people for smicha? Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba achrina habi bahadei. He actually had someone else with him. Bahadoi chashiv lahu mishum kavaydu Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. He didn't do it by himself. He had someone else there as well. Rameir Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba samchi. Is it true? Rameir Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba samchi. Is it true that he got smicha from him? Va'omer Rabba bar Chanam Rabbi Yochanan koim Rameir lo samchu. Rabbi Akiva Enu Elotaya. Anyone who says that Rameir didn't get smicha, or Samcha Rabbi Akiva, that Rabbi Akiva didn't give him smicha, it's a mistake. So how could you tell me that Yehuda ben Baba that gave Rameir smicha was Rabbi Akiva? So Samche Rabbi Akiva lo kiblu. Originally Rabbi Akiva gave smicha but was accepted. Samche Rabbi ben Baba the kiblu, then it was accepted. Okay. Amar Rabbi Shimon Levi ain't smicha b'chutzarts. There's no din of smicha in chutzarts. What does that mean? So my in smicha ilim, but the loy daini din kanasos klal b'chutzarts. Maybe you can't judge a kanas case outside of Eretz Yisrael, but not. But we learned in Makos Sanhedrin hagus ben bartz ben b'chutzarts. You can have a Sanhedrin even in chutzarts. Ela deloy samchinim b'chutzarts. What does that mean? We don't give smicha in chutzarts. So pshita, the following case is simple. If the one who's giving smicha is in chutzarts, v'nismachin ba'aretz, to give someone else in Eretz Yisrael smicha, ha'amrinan deloy. He can't do that because the person who's giving the smicha cannot be doing it outside of Israel. What if the one who is giving the smicha, like the rabbi, the teacher, is in Israel, and the one who's getting smicha is in Chutz La'aretz? Does that work? Toshima. Rabbi Yochanan havi mitztar lehad Rav Shimon bar Abba deloy havi gabayhu delismachei. He was distraught that he wasn't nearby him to give him smicha. Rav Shimon ben Zered v'chad di'imi uman Rabbi Yochanan ben Achmoy v'yarmu. Some will say the way around. Rabbi Yonasan ben Achmoy v'chad di'imi, one of the nation, uman Rabbi Shimon ben bar Zirud chad havi gabayhu samchuhu. One was by him for smicha. The one who was not by him, lo samchuhu, who was not able to give him smicha. Okay. Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yehoshia, Habika, Mishtakid, he was pressing Rabbi Yochanan lemismechinu, to give him smicha. Lo havi mistayim milsa, didn't work out, says Rashi. Kishai etzel, when he was near him, lo hayu there wasn't two people. She'd start from imo l'saimcha. You needed three people. There was never enough people around when they were together. Havi komet star tuva. So he was obviously very upset. He couldn't get smicha. Samalei lo netstar mardanan mid the base eli kasinan. You shouldn't be upset because we come from Beis Eli. Rav Shmuel ben Achman ben Rav Yonasan menayin shein nismachan Beis Eli, so that anyone from Beis Eli can't get smicha. Because the pasuk says, there won't be anyone old in your for all your life. So my zak, anyone who increases in your house, they will die. So what exactly does it mean? Ela smicha. Says Rashi, even chachamim come to the age of zikna, kigayin alidei tayr gmil chasadim. Kanarin b'Rosh Hashanah, like Abban Rabba, b'zevach u'v'mincha in meschaper. Of a meschaper who b'tayr v'gmos chasadim mikol makam mulotei tayras zikna land. Even if they could get old, they won't have tayras zikna. L'yos ruyim Sanhedrin. So that's what it means. That even though they could physically become old, but they're not going to be fit for Sanhedrin. Rav Zera havim metamer l'mismechei. So he hid away from getting smicha. The Yomi Rabbi Elazar, he heard the statement, the person should basically live and stay hidden in the dark. So he heard that if you achieve Gedula, then you'll be Meichel Kol V'Naisav. So therefore, actually, it's a good thing to get smicha. But originally he thought it wouldn't be a good thing because he thought having gedula could be something which could be not good for you. So it says v'kayim v'tichi kolimer harchik min harabonos, says Rashi. Distance yourself from rabbonos shemikaravtes ba'aleha afil mitargim kabbalah. So the idea is that if you become a leader, like we find by Yosef Tzaddik, he was the first of the brothers to die. So having leadership is not necessarily a great thing. Ki samchuhu Rav Zera Sharle Hachi. They used to sing. They would say that there should not be any makeup. Strange way telling a rabbi don't put makeup on. You should be like a gracious gazelle. Ki samchuhu Ravami Ravasi Sharle Hachi would sing Kol Mindain samchuhu lana. You should be among the great people that should get smicha. However, lo masmarmitin, not people who are like a rag. Rashi says, "Klemer shein noisin tam hagan avram." Don't give good reasons to your words. Voyim misar misin. No people who invert logic. V'yamla, some say lo mechamisin, those who rob reasons like Hamas. V'lo mitur misin, not someone who is like a lupine bean, which Rashi says Lois Parish. It's not explained. Rabbi Avoiki Habi Yasu Misifna Be Kesar Nafkim Tunisa the Be Kesar he would leave, Umisharin Lane, and they would sing the following: Rabbi the Ame Midbarana, Rabbi, the leader of the nation, Yomase Boitzina the Nahira, you are like a radiant flame. Baruch Messiah L'Shalom, bless you is your arrival in peace. So some people explain, when it comes to be what's the idea of makeup? Makeup covers up the reality of who you are. You're giving over a false impression of the absolute reality of what you are. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wearing makeup, for a woman to wear makeup, but the idea is, when it comes to a Rav, when it comes to a leader, you don't put on makeup. You don't act a certain way. You don't do things in order to try to look better in the eyes of your congregants. You have to do what you know is correct, and therefore you don't sugarcoat anything. You don't put on makeup and things of that nature. It doesn't literally mean makeup, but it means don't do things which are against who you really are, what you really represent. Okay, let's do question one. Why was Reb Zera hide not to get smicha? So because it kills them, right? You should live. So he changed his mind. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Arifas egel of a. So we know if there's an unknown murder, we don't know who did the killing. So we measure the closest city and they bring an egel rufa. You have to have 3 people to judge. Talk about Yatz Zikanecha v'Shevtecha. Zikanecha is Rabim, so it's Shnayim. Shevtecha is Shnayim, that's 2. Ein Beis Neshachim, what's going to Echad? Hari Kan Chamish, Rabbi Yehuda. Actually, you have to have 5. Rabbi Shimon Aimer Zikanecha Shnayim Ein Beis Neshachim, what's going to Echad? Hari Kan Shloisha. So it's Machokas 3 or 5 by a Egler Rufa. Rav Shimon, Hai Shevtecha, my Yavdale. According to Rav Shimon, what do you do with the word Shevtecha? So it has to be the ones who are the best. Says Rashi, Shu Mizikni Sanhedrin Gedoyla. It has to be from the great Sanhedrin Gedoyla. Yehuda Mizikni Zikanecha Nafka. He points it out from, it says Zikne, could say Ziknecha, so that extra word is the drasha. So Rav Shimon Imizikonai, having mean Zikaneha Shuk, any of these guys in the marketplace. Then it's the cheshuvim. The iksiv zikanecha havimina sanhedrin katana kasarachmana b'shevtecha mimichad mishim. It has to mamish be sanhedrin gedaya. Rabbi Yehuda gomer zikne ziknai somchu zikne ha'edas yadehem alhon yuchad mishim be'eda. Just like over there, it's referring to the people who are miyuchid in among everyone else. Now, if you want to exer shava, then yolef leilef kulam hasam. What are everything? Then you don't need these words at all. The vav is coming to add another 2 judges. Now, Shimon vav l'darish, you don't use anything to use that vav. Says Rashi, Elo oilam lo gomer gzer shava v'shavtechem yuchadim. Okay. Elam yatav yotzu should be shtayim. Madu that they measure the city is another shtayim. Rabbi Yehuda haritishas 9. Rav Shimon shiva. We mean 3 or 5. It should be really another 4 above that. So we need the words of Yaitza and Madu for a different drasha. Yatsu hein v'loy shluchan. They go and they are now at the point of shliach. They have to do it themselves. Umandu, they measure it shefil nimsas. We continue to down with base, even if it's found be'olil ear, even if it's clear, it's this city. Sarach asik mimedida. You still have to do the measurements. So, in other words, even let's say the mace is 20 feet away from your city, the other one's 1,000 feet from the city, you still have to do the measurement. Our mission is like the following: Tana the Sanhedrin, Eliezer ben Yankov Omer, V'yotzu Zikanecha Zu Sanhedrin. That's referring to the Sanhedrin. V'shevtecha, and your judgment, Zem Melech, V'koyin Gadol. This means you need to have a Melech and Koyin Gadol there too. Melech Nechsev Melech Mishmad Yamid Aretz. Koyin Gadol Nechsev V'vaso HaKohanim U'Levim V'Lashovit. So you boy who Eliezer ben Yaakov Echada Polig or Betarti Polig. Does he argue about 1 or does he argue about 2? Does he actually require a Kohen Gadol? Does he argue about a Kohen Gadol and by Melech? So Polig b'Melech v'Kohen Gadol, Polig b'Melech v'Kohen Gadol Polig. Over the Sanhedrin, when it comes to the Sanhedrin, Ik Rabbi Yehuda, Ik Rabbi Yehuda, Ik Rabbi Shimon, O Dilma b'Sanhedrin Nami Polig. Maybe he argues about the Sanhedrin as well. Yemer Kuhu Sanhedrin b'inon, that he requires you need all 71. Maybe you need the whole Sanhedrin. So maybe he argues with there too. So Rabbi Tashma Matzan a base Pagi, he fine. And Rashi says this is referring to a Zakin Mamre, the person who is a rebellious scholar. Sanhedrin Chutz Lishkas Hagazos, Shois Bahar Bias. You find him in the base Pagi, which is outside of the Lishkas Hagazos. V'hamayra lehen, and he is engaged in rebelliousness. Yachol tehei hamiraso harmra. You would think that he would be chayim misa based on his rebelliousness, even though he's only in the base Pagi. Tashma v'kamtav yalisa el hamakom malamed sha'amakom guidim. He has to actually engage in this rebelliousness in the Lishkas Hagazos by the Sanhedrin. The nafik kama. So how many of the Sanhedrin? Ilema mixason. If you want to tell me that some of them went out, Dilma hanach deika gavoy kaimi kavase. Maybe the ones that are inside will agree to him. Those remaining members. Obshita de nafikuhu. It must be that they all went out. Says Rashi, Ilema de nafuk mixasin v'hayraisan mibachutz. That he paskin outside v'hamayral devrehem. My iri makum garim. Why do you have to say makum garim? Typically, the patimishum dilma hanech velishka kavasi svirle. Maybe they actually hold like him. So the answer is that they all went out. So and therefore, even though the whole Sanhedrin went out, nonetheless he's not going to be chayim misa because he wasn't in the place. So why did they go out? Was it l'davar harishos that the whole Sanhedrin went out? So matzu nafki, are they able to go out? V'ksiv sharecha. Again hatzahar al yachaser hamazeg. It says that the navel, your basin mixture should not lessen. What is that referring to? Says Rashi, Ksiv v'darshin b'echad inimamnus lo yachaser hamazeg im nitzrach echad mehem lotzes. If one of them needs to leave, im yesham esrim mishloisha. As long as there's 23 left, then he can leave. So we see that they all can't leave Davar Rishos. They could have left if they all left Davar Mitzvah. It must be, why were they going out? It must be to measure the Egla Rufa, right? To see which city was the closest. It's a raya that you actually need the entire Sanhedrin to do the Medida. As we saw at the end of this Mishnah, if you want to be able to expand the city of Yerushalayim, or if you want to be able to expand the Azara, you need all 71. So maybe that's why. But the Egla Rufa, you don't need all 71. It says that they actually went out to measure the Egla. So this is actually telling us that the Taka did go out in order for the Egla Rufa, and you need all people of the Sanhedrin. Again, some machlokas. Neta Ravai. Let's look at question 2. Ksiv Egla Rufa. Yotzu zekanech mashevtecha. Man nilman behakosiv shevtecha. What do we learn from there? So we went out from shevtecha. Question 2. You need the Sanhedrin Gedol to do it. You need the king and the Kohen Gadol to also go out as well. Question TA23. Why do they leave? So either for measuring the Egla Rufa, or maybe Hoisav al Ir b'hazarais. That's TA23. Pretty easy question. Okay. So let's see. Okay, that's TA23. TB24. Kamas Akanim in a Sanhedrin. Yoitzel Medidas Egla Rufa. I wrote L'chad Ma'anim Asar Kulam Kol Ayin Alf or Rak Chav Gimel. Rak Chav Gimel, right? It says over here, Arifas Egla B'Shleisha, right? So that's definitely not correct. So this is TB24. So we said one opinion was Harikan Chamisha or Harikan Shloisha, right? So it's a machlokes 3 or 5, right? Then we had on Amud Beis, again, it's possible that Taki you need Nami, maybe Odilma b'Sanhedrin, Nami Pligid Yemer Kul Sanhedrin b'inon. So I would say, I didn't write this, it could be, I wrote 23, it's not, so one is 3, 5, or all 71. It's 24. I think that's what we're looking for here. This is Yodal. I'll leave Yodal in the base. Okay. Right. That was Yodal. Let's get to Yodal in the base. Okay. Net Rabbi. So after the first 3 years, you can't use it, eat from fruits. The 4th year, you bring that to your shalayim, and Meiser Sheni. Years 1, 2, 4, and 5, the 10% of your produce goes to your shalayim. If it's too heavy, you redeem it onto money and bring the money. So she'ain dam of yaduin b'shleisha. If you don't know the monetary value, then you need to have 3 people to be part of that process of the evaluation. Okay. So, Tanaban, Ezu Meiser Sheni Shein Dam Vidun. What does that mean? Money that Meiser Sheni, which has no monetary value, you don't know it. Perish your kivu. The fruits got rotten. Vayayin shehikrim, or the wine got vinegary. Umais shehachlidu, or the money got rusty. So that is what we're referring to over here. Okay, so in that case you need 3. Tanaban. Meiser Sheni Shein Dam Vidun Paidenaiso b'Shleish. You can redeem it with 3 people, and that to be Shleish L'Kuchais, 3 expert merchants. Avlo b'Shleish Shein L'Kuchais. It can't be 3 people who are not experts. If you'll nachri echad mehen, even if one of them is a nachri, if you'll echad mehen balim, if one is the owner himself, that's acceptable. But if you have 3 partners, echad mahu. What is the din in that situation? Says Rashi, fine. So what is the din if you have 3 partners? So Tashma Ishu Shtei Nashav, a man and 2 women, Poidin, Meiser Sheni Shein Dam of Yaduin. So we see that even though it's like all the same investment, they could all do it. The Dilma can go in Rapapo base Abasura. Maybe we're talking about like Rapapo base Abasura, that she worked for herself. So it may not necessarily be a raya if they were partners. Hekdeshus b'shleisha. So when it comes to hekdesh, also 3. It says Rashi v'hoisa latzma. Okay. So mastisa lo ki aitan. The sign your belezim and Yaakov Eimer filled to see nourishal hekdesh. Even a fork or like a needle of hekdesh. Sricha asar b'nei yadam with dice. You need 10. Armul Rapapul Abai Bishlam Rabbi Lezman Yaakov, who requires 10. Yerma Shmuel Asar Kohanim Ksuma Parsha. There's 10 times the word Kayin is mentioned in the Parsha. Says Rashi, Bepinyan Hakdesha is Shleisha Beparshas Erechin, Shleisha Bepinyan Behema, the Arba Bekarkais. So it's 10. So El Rabbanan Shleisha Menol, why 3? Bechitem Nexibahu Shleisha, maybe because it says Shleisha, Karkais Ksiv Arba, Tiskib Arba. So when it comes to karkais, 4 should be enough. Maybe 4 is enough by land. So alama tanana karkais tisha kain. My karkais you do need 10. Elamai the mashalmi buhu asara. Since it's the last of the 3 parshayos, so you add 3 plus 3 plus 4. So hekdisha. So that's the reason why over there you need 10 because it's at the end. So if you're doing 3 plus 3 plus 4, because the last one is karka is 4, so you have to add them all together, make it 10. So then the middle one, because we talked about the first 3 is erichin, the next 3 is pidyon behema, so maybe by pidyon behema you need 6. That's why it's a kasha. Okay. Erichin, we'll see that tomorrow. Okay, let's just finish this up. Question TA 24. Okay, we didn't do that. Shir Hoimid Ligzois. Okay. Rabbi Gibber. Ha'im yesh lidan dina kanasais bebavel al yedei smuchin. Can you be done dini kanasos in Bavel? So it really is yes. Basically more in Bava Kama. I'm not sure if that's a question. If you're in Eretz Yisrael, lismach Talmid Chacham kashu atah b'chutz. Are you allowed to, if you're in Eretz Yisrael, can you give smicha to someone who is in chutz? So what is it? So we say like this: Pshita Saimchen b'chutz v'nismachem ba'aretz ha'amrin deloi. If you're in chutz, you definitely can't give smicha. So we ended up trying to prove it, right? And it may be an aboy delishita, whether it can be done. Okay, so maybe Taki you could, based on that. It's not so clear. Okay, number 3. You can't all leave. So really, only part of them, and not the Kohen Gadol and the Melech is needed. I got that wrong. You need all 71 for the mitzvah of Eglah Rufa. To mitzvah, all left to add cities, you need 71. Okay, that we didn't see. Adkan.